The Area Truck Series season kicks off at Daytona International Speedway. New title hopes for new teams and new drivers are born as we head toward a race under the lights at the World Center of Racing. 90 laps at Daytona is how we start the Area Truck Series season. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer joined by Finian DeCuna tonight. Finian, last night we saw the Area 500, a spectacular show. 100 laps towards the evening, but now as we head towards a race under the lights, we get to go trucking for the first time in the fall season for the Area League.
Yeah, and these trucks put on a fantastic show all of last season too. There was some really close racing across all the bunch of tracks we went throughout the playoffs, and then now coming back to Daytona, starting all again, and we got a very big field. 41 trucks lined up for tonight, so these guys, I'm sure they can't wait to get going and start for this season. Of course, other guys were participating in the Cup Series yesterday, so they've already gotten acquainted with being in this new season, but some other guys, some newer faces here, different guys, are ready to get going in the Truck Series now.
Yeah, big field, as you mentioned, over 40 trucks running tonight here as we head towards our 90-lap event. Let's head down to the racetrack here and get a look at the gorgeous Daytona International Speedway, bathed in eastern Florida sunlight here as we head towards the end of another day. And the weather is absolutely perfect here in the sim. 68 degrees in the air, 71 on the racetrack, a wind just a 4-mile-an-hour breeze out of the northeast. Is an absolutely perfect night for racing, but there's so much on the line for these drivers tonight. We'll talk about the seasons and how short they are, fitting every race counts, and these late races, these restricted races, these are always the ones to circle on your calendar as survive and move on. If you can turn this out of a survive into a win, you're certainly looking at a good season already.
Yeah, that's what a lot of these guys are going to be trying to do. You know, the game plan is just make it to the end of this race, because 90 laps is a lot of time, a lot of things can happen, and we've seen last night too, some guys, we had wrecks at the back of the field, middle of the field, and the front of the field. No one was quite ever safe, especially when a lot of guys thought they were safe. There was a random wreck that happened, and guys just couldn't get out of it. So I think the game plan for a lot of these guys, especially guys that are just kind of out there, just trying to get some solid points on the board, they're going to be playing it maybe a little bit more conservative, while we know that some guys, they like to just go all out and will just be up in the front constantly.
Well, practice is underway right now. There's a good look at Daytona International Speedway, third largest lit outdoor facility on planet Earth. And only costs about $250 an hour to run those lights, which is pretty spectacular in the age of modern electronics. But there's a look, drivers practicing at the moment. And timing and scoring for practice is on the left-hand side of your screen. And note at how many times that ticker's got to turn over. Lots and lots of people trying to find success at Daytona. Last season, James Shainwolf led the most laps among super speedway races. That was only 33. So you have a lot of opportunity tonight to lead even more laps than Shainwolf did. And last year in the Daytona truck race, 16 leaders, 31 lead changes, and 5 yellows. So those are what we have to look forward to in terms of historical context on this event. But again, some of the new drivers will show their faces, and some of the veterans are here as well. There's Cameron Hearn in the number 67.
Yeah, going around on the track at the moment, currently at the top of the board. Of course, obviously times don't really matter except for really qualifying. But interesting to see, you know, we saw for the most part last night too, most of the same names up near the front of the field. Same guys are able to make moves to get themselves to the front up until we get a wreck. Typically it ended up mixing up a lot of things, but for the most part it was mostly the same guys near the front.
Yeah, I think there's, you know, we look back at Ryan Hart's being champion last season, and we come into this year. He's in the field again here tonight. Cameron Hearn was certainly a force to be reckoned with in many of the races last season. We look at the calendar, what's upcoming here this season. Well, we start things off at Daytona, then we head to Rockingham next week, then we go to Sonoma Raceway, week number 3. We go to road racing, Iowa, WWT Raceway at Gateway, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Then after Thanksgiving, we go to Darlington, Bristol, Charlotte. Then after Christmas, New Hampshire, Michigan, Talladega. Then we kick off the chase, Lucas Oil Raceway, IRP, Las Vegas, Auto Club Richmond, and our championship race is at Nashville, which I think is a fantastic place for a season finale.
Yeah, main thing too, also Bristol, we're going to be doing Bristol Dirt. I don't think we actually have done a series at Bristol Dirt, if I'm not mistaken, on SimTV. And then also too, we're going to Atlanta. I don't think we've either done a race at the new Atlanta.
Oh,
actually,
right.
Wait, I think
we might have done
one. I think you and Connor might have done one.
Yeah.
I don't think I did it.
Yeah, I think it was that ORL? I don't know what race that would have been, but either way, that's some new tracks on the horizon for us here at SimTV. But practice is almost complete here. We'll get into a quick qualifying before we set the race order here for the day. David Weishart in practice right now, running all the way down in 37th. certainly not representative of what we're going to see him at the end of the night. But we talk about survival. Think to the Area 500 last night. We had, what, 3 or 4 yellows, but they were big ones every single time. And it didn't seem like laying back really helped a lot of drivers. They got into it one way or the other.
Yeah, a lot of guys will find a way to wreck some. you see that, no matter what you can do, it's just a matter of being at the right place at the right time. Where the right place at the right time is, I'm sure a lot of you guys would like to know, because there's never one true way to figure that out. You're never quite safe. You're always got some sort of risk. Even if you form yourself in a second pack, we've seen second packs form, they end up drifting back, and somehow they end up finding themselves up in their own wreck. So you always have to keep on your toes and just kind of see how everything's moving around. Just kind of hope and pray that everyone keeps it nice and clean in front of you.
Yeah, certainly that is the goal, is keep it clean for the entire night here. About 3 minutes time, we go qualifying here at Daytona International Speedway. Again, I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney and Dakuda, and 90 laps is on the schedule for the racing tonight. Other things to take note: area track record 47.835. That was Cameron Hearn last season. Winners of this race: Season 1, Brad Slaughter; Season 2, James Shane Wolf. And both of those drivers, at least Shane Wolf is here. Is Slaughter here tonight?
I believe he is somewhere. I could have sworn I saw him.
He is here, yeah. He's down at 27th at the moment in the number 8 truck, returning again for another run at the championship.
Yeah, we saw him do really well last season, and looking to see what he can do now, starting off on a fresh foot for this season out there. And we saw him do really well in last night's race. Ended up winning duel number 1 for the Cup Series. Didn't quite manage to get the win last night because of just sheer attrition. We saw him, he made a very aggressive move 4 wide. Ended up causing a wreck late in the race. So we'll see. Hopefully best of luck for him. Hopefully better fortune tonight.
Yeah, so fortune and a little bit of luck, but there is some talent that plays into this. And the aggression we saw last night certainly seemed like it paid off for a lot of the drivers that were making big moves. But towards the end of the race, they could get you into trouble. But they can also win you the race if you are capable and comfortable making those big swipes. Right. Rolling through turns 3 and 4 here under practice conditions. Hearn, Bell, Tommy Ryan, Cahill Holmes, and the number 41, Travis Beckner, your top 5. Beckner was the winner in last night's Area 500. Comes in with the Rick's Hot Sauce car, feeling very confident, I'm sure, after last night's event, Finian. And we documented him being at his aunt's house running on the rig because of a loss of power at his home in Florida after Hurricane Ian. So it was an emotional victory last night for Travis.
Yeah, and definitely well earned. Really dominated Daytona for the Cup Series side of things. He was the other dual winner of duel number 2 for the qualifying races, and then obviously winning last night. So we'll see if I'm sure he's going to try to keep it up for speed weeks here at Daytona. Going to try to make it another win here in the Truck Series to really show that dominance.
All right, well, practice is coming to a close here shortly. Head towards qualifying. Fans, be sure to check out areaiRacing.shop for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Shop from our selection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. You can use code HAPPYHOUR for 10% off. Well, happy hour is complete here in just about a minute time, and then we'll head down into qualifying. We always talk about qualifying not really being all that important at super speedways, but just like last night, I'm going to disagree with that general super speedway sentiment with how deep the field is. I want to start up front. I want to stay up front all night long. I want to be leading those lines. I feel like that's the safest place unless you're really willing to drop back and wait for the race to fall into your hands. But that's a real risk, I think, especially because things can happen out back like they did last night too.
Yeah, and again, it's really that unpredictability. But I do think you're going to want some general qualifying position just to get your night going well. That means, if you plan on trying to run into the front, in the front of the field, you're going to want to qualify well near the front of the field. If you're a guy that's just going to ride it out, maybe you don't want to qualify, you're just going to kind of sit and just start off in the back of the field. We typically see a lot of times, guys will qualify and then they'll try to, in the first few laps, fall out of line, drop on the apron, jump all the way back. So it gets kind of chaotic on the first few laps as everyone's trying to figure out where they want to run for the early stages of the race.
So practice complete now. Finally, checkered flag in the air. We'll get set for qualifying, and it looks like as it stands, 41 drivers are here tonight. Maybe they make that 4. Alan Elwood does not roll off here as the field gets 10 minutes to put down their fastest laps. Typically see drivers run that high line to kick things off and then drop to the low line for second lap out. And as we get closer and closer to sunset here in Daytona, how many drivers will jump out immediately? Well, Charles Canita in the number 44 is wasting no time. He is immediately starting in the Darnell Racing body armor Toyota Tundra. He'll head onto the racetrack here as the temperature will continue to fall. Maybe some drivers will wait later. I don't think that matters all that much here, but Canita bails out. On down to Tommy Ryan in the number 99 truck.
And just a quick note for Alan Elwood, he's the admin for tonight.
Yep, so not be. So 40 trucks on the dot will be our total tonight. Thanks for that. James Shainwolf accelerates onto the back straightaway in the Roderick Racing Development Toyota Tundra. Heads down towards turn number 3. Shainwolf rocking that number 2 truck alongside his Elite Entertainment Gaming teammates Tom Bourne, Danny Ware, and AJ Roderick. Riding the high side through turns 3 and 4 and coming to the green. Green flag now for qualifying. Here comes Shainwolf to that green flag.
So no time to get those laps underway. It really should take about 3 minutes to get your out lap plus your 2 flying laps in, and you're definitely going to want to use it that second lap. First lap usually spent building up the momentum, and we're seeing here for Shainwolf electing just to run the bottom all the way around.
Yeah, I'm not sure. These trucks are such low horsepower that I don't really know if running the high lane is going to gain you a whole lot. I think you're basically up to speed by the middle of the back straightaway instead of at the exit of turn 4 on the second lap. So they just kind of top out with all that drag pretty quickly. 174, the fastest we see for Shainwolf entering turn number 3, and drops to 170, maybe the high 160s on the banking. And out of turn 4 now onto the front straightaway. And Shainwolf will put down one of the first times on the board. Here he comes across the line, and this time through a 52.138. James Scioli a little faster on the opening lap, Seidenfeiden, Roderick. A couple others dropping up onto the timing and score.
And first few times getting put down. His driver's inch across the line. Here's seeing the difference between the first lap and the second lap, because as you mentioned, the cars do not have a lot of power underneath them. So there shouldn't be too terribly big of a difference. There'll be a slight one, but not too terribly big.
That James Scioli looked like he bailed out on whatever lap he had as lap number 2, so he's already given up on that. David Weishart goes to the top at a 52.055. That was at the end of his first lap also, and he's going to bail out. I wonder if drivers think they can't go faster. I'm not sure that I think that's the case, but here comes Roderick now to complete his second lap in the number 56 truck, and he actually went slower, so maybe these trucks are heat soaking a bit perhaps.
And Shainwolf, same thing for him, also went slower in his second lap, so not much. So yeah, I guess we're seeing why guys are bailing on the first lap. That's a bit interesting. I would have had the second lap be a smidge faster, but we'll see if we can break that mold.
Yeah, that was a little quicker for 52.160. Here's Josh Taylor in the number 57 on his first lap coming to the checkers here in the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet Silverado. Tommy Ryan to the top of the board, 52.028. Head of Weishart, breaks provisional pole time. Josh Taylor, 52.088. That's a decent enough lap to put him inside the top 10 for now. Brad Slaughter Jr. was put into 52.213, and that is not a very quick lap, and it looks like that's all he's going to have. So he's going to start towards the tail, I would imagine. Travis Beckner out of turn 4 now.
Yeah, across the line for the 28. That's going to put him, at the moment at least,
nope, sorry.
Put him
kicking off a fresh lap here, so that was from up lap.
And he's running the top lane. So what it seems like is that it might be best to actually just run that bottom lane and then call it quits. Although notably, Tommy Ryan, Jeff Ryan, it seems on their laps, they're sitting on the top 2. They went really slow that first lap, and then they went flying that second lap. And we've seen that in quite a few cases. I've always kind of wondered why some drivers end up doing that, but it typically ends up working out. I guess it could be, like you said, related to the engine just heat soaking that second lap, going full tilt. So some of these guys figuring out the little secrets in qualifying, and all these little things are worth thousands of a second, but it's going to separate yourself from starting second and 32nd.
I mean, look at this. 52.03 is pole time. 52.15, about a tenth slower, is 15th. Here's Cahill Holmes in the number 41, the Rockwell Toyota Tundra in the first place. Colin Fern jumps up to 15th place in the Brandon-built motorsports car. Truck, rather. I always do that at the start of a new Truck Series season, getting myself used to saying trucks. Swerve Irvin across the line at 52.835, and he's still got his foot in it here on the banking.
Yeah, gonna see if we can try to improve. Obviously, after only doing that first lap, and I think he was one of those guys that went high for their first lap.
And it's a long lap here in a truck. It takes a long time to get around.
There's Beckner now coming around.
Beckner can do in the number 28 across the line. Is it a pickup at 51? That's only going to be good enough for about 4 fastest. Here comes Swerve Irvin out of turn number 4.
Yeah, across the line for the 48. That's going to put him at a 52.131. Good enough for 21st.
A 148 for Paul in 20th place, however.
Oh, God, you know, it didn't update my time when he came across the line.
Eric Wineland in the number 21 was with us in the booth last night, giving some awesome pit reporting. That was something I never really experienced before. He's on the racetrack, though, tonight and gearing up for his first qualifying lap effort. He'll be coming back to the checkers, the white, I should say, this time through. And he's going to be running the 2-lap method here, I think, as well, running up against the outside fence. That's kind of their traditional way to do it. Comes Eric Wineland across the line. Lap 1 will be a 55.4, but it's going to be that second lap that we're waiting for Eric.
Yeah, and so far for the guys that ran high and then ran low, it's not looking particularly good out of the guys that I noted trying to attempt to qualify that way. It seems like most of the guys are kind of stuck around in the midfield at the moment.
And that camera worked great. That's the only time I've ever been able to get those cameras to
it's tough.
1 and 2.
I really wish I could make it like change the actual shape of the track instead of rely on the blimp. But yeah, when that shot works, it's really good.
Yeah, usually you head over to it. And actually, it's working again here in 3 and 4. I'm going to use it as much as I can. This awesome boom shot here that Finian set up for us. Cracking the car on the banking. Use it while it works. Wineland out of turn 4 now on his second lap. Where will he go? Can he throwing the Rhine boys at the top? 52.064. It's going to be good enough for 5th place. Solid run by Eric Wineland. Jacob Bell is now on track, leading his first lap this time through. Looks like a new
truck.
Yeah, looks like a relatively new livery here as well. Has some patterning on the hood across the line for the 77. And looks like this is going to be a 2-lap method. Yep, 52.6. So I think this will be that method again for him.
Yeah, I haven't seen how the B car looks, but I will say for the truck, that's probably the best large box paint scheme I've seen. It really fits the truck very well.
Yeah, and the number too. Even the number font fits the part. But I love this. A little bit hard to see here, but this design, this pattern that is kind of around their truck. It looks really, really solid. Into turn 3 for Jacob Bell. Conrad Sampson Jr. is sitting in the pit box, but will not get a qualifying effort. Neither will Garrett Grant. James Coe in the number 24. Hallman and Asogak, Bobby Tinch, Shane Abbey, and Jeff Noe are also not going to get qualifying efforts in here. Bell across the line, 52.078, 12th place. Qualifying is complete here from Daytona International Speedway for the Area Truck Series. Tommy and Jeff Ryan will share that front row, and we'll bring you to the full starting lineup here in just a moment when we kick things off.
Yeah, looking forward to a little bit of a mixed grid. Some guys, especially notably Brad Slaughter, all the way back in 32nd. That's going to be a big hole to climb out of.
Yeah, big hole to climb out of, and we talked about the dangers of being in the back and having to move your way forward. How quickly do you do that? How slowly do you do that? You're going to see a lot back there, and it's going to make you nervous as a driver. You're not going to want to push forward and push through it. The other challenge is if the race is clean from start to finish, you're going to have to pass all those cars at some point. They're not necessarily all going to wreck out of your way. You can count on that being a possibility, but it's never set in stone. You never really know what's going to happen here in one of these super speedway races. Time to go racing, though. 90 laps on the horizon here. Thanks for joining us on Sim TV. Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney and Dakota. As we head down to the racetrack, let's kick things off with our starting grid for tonight's event. And we've got a couple minutes here. Oh, a couple minutes of warm-up, rather, before we get rolling. Throw me off a little bit. I was ready to go.
Yeah, I was ready to go too. I forgot they have the warm-up period.
All right, well, we're going to take a moment to step away and bring an ad from Sim Wrap Market. We'll be back in a few. Back live from Daytona International Raceway for Daytona International Speedway, rather, as we get set for about 1 hour and 20 minutes of racing from the World Center of Racing. 90 laps is what goes on the ticker for tonight, and it is 40 drivers getting set to go racing. It's about time to roll through our starting lineup, kicking things off with our front row starters. On row number 1 in the number 99, it's Tommy Ryan alongside Jeff Ryan in the number 37. They will kick things off on the front row.
And back in row number 2, just came back right in time.
Good thing.
David Weider is going to be rolling off in the 33 in 3rd place. James Scully next to him in 4th and 7th.
Eric Wineland starts 5th in the number 21. Jordan Martin rolls off 6th in the number 11.
Back in 7th place behind Tom Bourne in the 16 truck. Next to him, Ryan Swan in the 19 truck in 8th place.
9th place, Ray Slate in the number 08. Colin Fambro starts 10th in the number 18 truck.
Ryan Hart's going to be rolling off in 11th in the 3 truck on the inside. Next to him, Jacob Bell in the 77 and 12th.
13th place, AJ Roderick in the number 56. And Josh Taylor starts 14th in the number 57.
Cameron Hearn is going to be rolling off in 15th and 67 with Danny Ware in the 00 in 16th.
17th place, Travis Beckner in the 28. Jordan Hurley in the number 5 starts in 18th.
Matthew Bell going to be rolling off in the 9 truck in 19th. Khalil Holmes in 41 in 20th.
21st place, James Shane Wolf in the number 2. Jeffrey Wilson in the 85 starts 22nd.
Chris Seidenfeld is going to be rolling off in the 23rd place in the 45, and in the 86 truck, Colin Fern in the 20th and 24th place.
Matthew Cochran rolls off 25th, the number 4, and John Bohr in the number 1 starts 26th. The rest of the starting lineup scrolling along the bottom of the screen as we roll onto the banking in turns 3 and 4, getting set to go racing at Daytona. The lights come on. The stars come out, not in the sky, but on the racetrack. The Area Truck Series is about to kick off their 2022 fall season from the World Center of Racing. Here we go. Last driver on the grid, Tyler Hallman in that number 42. And, Bobby Tinch, James Coey, the last starters here tonight. Time to go racing. The Area Truck Series at Daytona. Green flag is waving, and we are racing. Underway from the World Center of Racing. Lap 1 complete. Tommy Ryan leads the way. Wineland in second in the number 21. Jeff Ryan drops to third. Scioli and Tom Bourne run 4th and 5th as we head to turn 1. 2 wide and many, many rows deep here.
Yeah, fairly orderly, 2 by 2. We saw them in the Cup Series rolling in single file almost immediately under the front of the field. Still double wide prominently all throughout the back, as you mentioned.
There's the 5 wide group, 5 wide esports, the orange trucks that are kind of mid-pack there. Jeffrey Wilson in the 85 is one of them. They all look the same, so that'll be a challenge tonight to pick them apart from the rest of the crowd, especially when they're all running nose to tail like this. The 85's got the white rims. That helps distinguish it just a little bit.
Yeah, they're all found each other almost immediately. One lone member of their team in the bottom, actually going
I knew there was a
wide
fifth
up the
one.
middle.
I knew there was a 5th one somewhere. There he is, Jordan Hurley in the number 5. There was, well, we saw the 5 earlier. Who was the one that we're missing? The 35. That's who it was. Conrad Sampson Jr. I told you there'd be 5.
Well, I mean, no, I think one of them is a. Oh, I guess not. Oh, that's weird. I'm surprised because I could have sworn they were limited to only 4 entries.
There's only 4 on the entry list that are associated with the team. But 5 of those trucks on the racetrack makes sense considering the team's name. But look at this battle for the lead. Here comes Wineland. Help from this third 37 to Jeff Ryan, who started on that front row, giving him a push. In the red number 37 on the outside lane, but the inside seems to have a bit of the edge right now.
Yeah, and that's usually what we see here at Daytona. It's typically that inside lane is the one that'll usually prevail overall, but that outside lane, you can definitely build up some solid runs if you can kind of work together with the guys around you.
Into turn 1, Bill double wide, the 16 car of Tom Bourne runs in tow. 56 of AJ Roderick dropping back. Now, we're not seeing a massive, enormous runs like we saw in the Cup Series race. This might calm things down a little bit in terms of the motion and aggressiveness of the movements. You're not having those crazy closing rates like you saw last night. And just because we were rushed to get through the starting lineup, let's make sure to mention the Roasted Gems Coffee starting grid, by the way. Down front straightaway into turn 1. Rafe Slayton, 08. That's that white and gold truck on the inside lane. On board with Jacob Bell, the 77. Lot calmer so far to start this race. Even though they're 2 wide, maybe a little bit 3 wide early on, lap number 5 complete, still 2 very orderly lines. The 37 to Jeff Ryan popped out of line for a moment, but didn't have momentum to go anywhere. Up the racetrack into turns 1 and 2. 11 and Jordan Martin was in the mix last night a couple of times, got damaged late in the race and had to retire that car or finish down the order. There's James Scioli, the number 7, approaching on the bottom side of the racetrack, the 5 of Hurley, the 18 of Fambro, top to bottom there for 10th place.
Still fairly orderly double file all the way through the back. Look at the top side, Wineland now trying to make something happen, and also nobody, everyone's still in the same pack. We haven't seen a second pack kind of spread out in form.
No, not really. We haven't seen anyone really drop out of the mix just yet. Again, even though we're 2 wide, that last night this would have felt pretty frantic. We're not seeing anybody really moving around a lot. We do see that there is a single file group starting to form at the back of drivers that are kind of dropping out. You see a lot more drivers doing that now. One of them, I think, is that number 16 truck at Tom Bourne. Yes, it is. And is that the 8 also falling backwards? Brad Slaughter Jr.? Yes, it is. No, that's Justin Adesogak in the 88. Nope, excuse me, one more time. The 19 of Ryan Slaughter. A little shuffling up front here, Finney, as they head to the start-finish line.
Yeah, outside lane started to prevail a little bit more. We saw wide lane duck down low, and now the 99 of Ryan takes the lead just for a second. I'm not sure if he quite led that lap. working along that top side. And curious to see when we're going to see that third lane form. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but with the way these guys are racing, I definitely see that happening after halfway.
Brad Slaughter Jr. up 11 spots from where, well, no longer, up, only 8 spots from where he started. And again, I think the progress has been slow because there's just not that much speed difference between drivers with runs and drivers without runs. And especially when the pack is so double file organized here, it's going to be really difficult to get momentum here. But Brad kind of laying off throttle here, maybe trying to establish this second group, but the 12 truck's not going. Shane Abbey goes to the bottom.
Yeah, no, I think he's just kind of sitting, waiting here patiently in the back. There's no real need for him, I guess, or this early on. He doesn't feel the need to kind of move himself up. He's going to kind of sit right around in the back, up comfortably, while everyone else is doing the racing and the hard, aggressive racing up near the front.
Bill double wide, Wineland on the outside, the 99, inside, the Tommy Ryan truck on the outside, paired up with Jeff Ryan. They push each other down the back straightaway on the Daytona Super Stretch, and here's Jordan Martin creeping into the picture. Jordan started this race in 6th. He hasn't gone anywhere, runs 5th right now.
Solid job, kind of stuck up there on the top lane at the moment.
And yeah, again, these are still tense moments if you're watching all this from the back, but these are pretty orderly 2 lines. I just don't, as I mentioned a couple of times, everyone's set with where they're running right now. No one's really trying to establish a third lane and go somewhere. Everyone seems fairly content to just kind of ride where they are and click away laps. Again, 90 laps is not a super short race. It's also, not super long, so we have about an hour of racing left. And we're past the 10% mark already. Look at the 86 now to the top side, Colin Fern.
Yeah, deciding he wants to make a third lane happen. Will anyone join him in this endeavor as he tries to push his way to the front? It's kind of amazing he's able to do that by himself, just purely using the side draft for the guys now technically in the middle lane.
He's going to get squeezed up top there, but he's still making progress from 24th to 6th, now to 5th. But will anybody go? Looks like the 5-wide esports car is going to give it a go. Jordan Hurley comes up top.
Yeah, but surprised people are going to jump with him, and now he's going to, as soon as he finds a spot in the line, he's going to drop down in. Now leaving the 5-wide driver out all by his lonesome. He's got his teammates a little further back, a little too far back.
Yeah, but they've broken the seal on that upper groove now. It seems like everyone can kind of start to creep up there, and if the 5-wide esports cars can make ground, they're going to try that, although it's interesting to see the 25 is not elected to go up there and run with his teammates. So right now it appears that 5 truck, Jordan Hurley, is going to be all by himself. Bill 2 wide for the top spot. Eric Wineland in the 21. Tommy Ryan, in terms of the laps led, Tommy in the number 99 has led 8 laps. Eric Wineland has led 3, so the top side now seems to have the advantage off the corner, especially with those 2 up top pushing pretty aggressively. Colin Fern, what a move he did. Just drove by everybody, then dropped right into that second groove, and now runs in 6th.
Yeah, that generally was really impressive. I think everyone saw that and definitely took note that that's definitely a possibility to do later on when they need to. You can just go up there by yourself. I mean, he didn't really do anything too special. He just kind of went up there and just kind of ran his own line.
Using that side draft pretty effectively as well, without making it look obvious. He wasn't swooping in and getting right on the quarter panel of his competitors. He just kind of drove around them.
Yeah, that's the big thing too, because normally you see that, especially for the Cup car, which are so air sensitive. You see a lot of the guys, they'll aggressively side draft one another, almost about a pit maneuver a guy into the wall because they're up so close against the quarter panel. But he just kind of went up there and kept the space, gained some distance, and was able to just naturally use the side draft to slow his fellow competitors down.
David Weishart, who dropped from 3rd down to about 20th, and his progress now sits behind the 45 aside and find a big lift on the back straightaway. A little checkup on that inside groove, but that's what you have to manage back here in the mid-pack. You don't have to manage the momentum of the lanes, you just have to manage your momentum in relation to the lane that you're in. Laps in and very orderly up front. Will anybody try to make that third lane up there? The 99 and 37 are doing a great job working together and leading this top group, but they're also effectively boxing in everyone else behind him.
Yeah, as you continue to do that, here's again, if someone, we saw guys go up on the top lane now. I'm curious, do you think we may see someone try to make a third lane in the middle? Or do you think that's a little too much of a disadvantage being stuck in that middle lane?
I just don't think that they're going to leave anybody room to do it. These trucks don't have as much power as the Cup cars, even in the super speedway configuration. So to make speed on that top line, they're not really running up against the wall. They're running kind of that middle groove already. But as we see that, the 99 is going to turn left and intercept the front bumper of the 21. And now the Ryan drivers lead the way again into turn number 1.
And here's the figure, might as well control both lanes of traffic instead of just controlling one. It can kind of make everyone run at their own pace. Ooh, and seeing now wine lane dipping out a lane, as well as the 08 of Race Light.
Perhaps that's not a surprise. See those drivers drop out. Eric Wineland from Expert Racing Esports and 08 going with him back
where
there.
He is. Oh, Race Light is an open car.
Yep. But now Colin Fern in the 86 takes the lead. The Ryan brothers ended up nose to tail again on the outside, and that will push Jordan Martin. Ryan Hart's reigning champion through into third. Martin into second. Colin Fern up to the lead.
It was interesting too, talking about Colin Fern. Looking at everyone else in the Discord channel, there's quite a few guys in Discord channel, so almost everyone's with at least 2-3 other guys. Colin Fern, he's all by himself, which I guess makes sense why he was the only person up there in the lane. He just made his own move. He's a one-man show. He's gonna get him and got himself to the front.
Sometimes it's got to be a one-man show, and if you could show everybody early that you can make moves that work, people will take note of that. They don't want to see aggressive driving that leads to accidents. They want to see aggressive driving that leads to position gains. And having the confidence to do something like that, that's what makes Colin Fern different. He had confidence early in the race. He knew there wasn't anything really on the line. As long as he didn't bend the car, he was going to be in good shape. And it's paid off for him here as he leads his first laps of the night. And see how well that camera worked in qualifying, and now I can never get it right again.
Yeah, no, and then the rest of the time you just get a good view of the infield camping.
Yep. Good run from the bottom of the racetrack, though, and the outside a little bit discombobulated. Here's Jacob Bell in the number 77 up in the mix. Got a pair of the 5-wide esports. Was it 5-wide? Yes, 5-wide esports. Kind of split the difference with the 01 truck of Dwight Beaverly. Almost won the 500 last night, came to the white flag and ended up crashing.
Yeah, where's that 5th truck again? It disappeared.
The 35, Conrad Sampson Jr. Well, that's one of the other 4.
No, there's 4 of them in that outside lane. I don't
85,
see
Jeffrey Wilson at the tail of the field. Way at the tail. He's got nobody behind him. That's a lonely feeling.
Yeah, looking at Jeffrey Wilson, so he's the one. He's not even on the entry list that we have. he's the one that's just kind of appeared.
Well, he's just there so they don't have to call it 4-wide esports. That's all they're doing. 18 laps in. Competitive racing, but no accidents thus far. Race recap, 73 laps to go. 3 leaders, 5 lead changes. Significantly less wild already than this race in seasons past, where we had, 30 lead changes? So
yeah, something like that.
Already a lot more orderly up front. But look at Tommy Ryan again, with help from his teammate behind him. Almost cleared that 86 on the bottom.
Yeah, and Fern got a fantastic push from Martin at the last second just to get ahead of the 99, at least in the inside quarter panel, to make sure he didn't come down to clear. And now that inside lane starting to make some moves. See Brian Hart's getting close to the back of Martin, try to give him a little bit of a shove.
And Scioli on board with the number 7 right now.
Nowhere really for him to go. He's kind of trapped on all sides.
Look at the Ryan guys up top. They just are shoving so aggressively.
And they had to back off. I think they probably had to back off on the top lane because they've been pushing so aggressively. So now they're going to start coming back a little bit.
Coming to lap 20, we have to start thinking about pit stops in the next 10 to 12 laps. Around that top side. Just have an out. That's all you really need is an out. And that's why I always like running the bottom of these plate races. Yeah, you get pinched, but you also have an out if there's a wreck. Everything kind of tends to go with the centripetal force up to the outside wall, and if you're in a corner, there's just nothing for you to do. At least on the bottom, you can jam on the binders and try to turn off the banking. Wow, big slide from the 86. Colin Fern on the banking, off on the apron. Can he slow it down? Yes, he does.
Oh man, that's really gotta hurt. Did the smart move of slowing down. I don't know if he'll be able to catch the pack back up though.
Go back to the Simrat Market replay off the bumper of the number 11 right here. Gets that push to the right. Gets loose and wiggles and then just bails out. Great thinking, great quick thinking to save that car and everyone around him. As up front, getting a little bit wilder again with the Ryan guys leading the way. The 11 and 77, not so patient.
No, they immediately took the opportunity to try to control both lanes again. We'll see if that stays that way. 3 wide in the midfield for just a second.
33 truck, I think. That was David Weishart. And again, Tommy Ryan controlling that upper
A few more
groove.
guys jumping up there.
Yep. 56 truck of Roderick up top. Looks like it. No, it's the 2 truck rather of James Shangle.
Oh!
He gets pinched. Wow.
That could have been ugly, and somehow it didn't turn out ugly, but that too was just about to be turned around in front of the entire field.
Yeah, lots of momentum now starting to build and impatience beginning. We're 3 wide again. There's a third one of those 811.com trucks. That's the 01 Beaverly. He's his teammates lead that upper groove and wants to get there.
Yeah, part of the team, Unacceptable Racing is the team of 3 with both Tommy Ryan, Jeff Ryan, and Dwight Beverly, all 3 of them. Oh, yeah, disconnected from his teammates at the moment. Was trying to see if he can get up to join them up in the front.
Martin cleared as he moved up in front of the 99 to control that upper groove. Be an opportunity to also be opening up the inside groove for the reigning champ. They come again on the outside.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if maybe these guys are going to be a little bit less aggressive on the bumper, considering they just saw what happened to Fern going almost around. I think Fern's cut somewhere in the mid-30s, I think is where he ended up. He was lucky he could stay in the pack after slowing down for the turn on the apron.
Down the backstretch, look at the entire field still in one camera shot. Carlos Canita in the 44 is the last driver on the lead lap, only 5 seconds back.
Yeah, I'm honestly genuinely surprised they haven't lost anyone yet. Usually we see like a few stragglers, somehow one or two drivers manage to get lost in the shuffling or something happens and then dropping back, losing the draft. But we've got 23 laps and we still got everyone running together in one big pack.
Well, that just tells me that when the wreck happens, not if, when it happens, it's going to be even bigger. That's just how it goes.
It's going to be the bigger one?
The bigger one, the biggest one. Just been too calm. And when it gets too calm for too long, it gets too wild too quick. That's generally how that works towards the end of a race.
The big thing that's going to happen is we are going to be, again, we've talked about it, that we're approaching routes like pit stops in the next 10 or so laps. These guys are going to plan, when they're coming on down. And we got all 40 guys still running in the same pack. So that's going to be a lot of guys all coming off at different points in time, coming down to pit lane to make the pit stop. And the one thing I really hope they did was practice getting on down to pit lane. We saw a lot of pit road speeding penalties last night. And I'm sure some of those guys, especially that were in the race last night that got this penalty, I'm sure they definitely practiced to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Practice slowing down never.
And also not even getting the penalty too, but also running through the box. So people can just completely slide through the box and lose time that way.
Yeah, that's a big one too. You get the truck slow down from 170 to 55, and somehow that's not harder than slowing from 55 to 0.
Yeah, coming to a complete stop. Again, the brakes, they're really bad. They're really, because you don't need brakes. So these are the worst brake packages that you have. But you have to compensate for that. You have to make sure to brake just a little bit early. If you give up a second or two just being a little bit more conservative, it's much better than having to slide on through. Hopefully you put the clutch in, and then get it in reverse gear back all the way up, and then hope that you get in the box the correct way.
Colin Fern again making that upper groove work again.
Wow, I think he was already up back up to 13.
Look at him go. Look at him go to the outside. Squeeze this up to the outside of the 01. And look at the ground he's making all by himself. That's impressive.
Yeah, again, he really is a one-man show. It's kind of impressive. I've never really seen anyone just able to single-handedly just go over there, make their own lane, and somehow make it work.
Without any help at all. On the backstretch here, he might lose a little bit of ground to those that are bump drafting. The 57 to Josh Taylor bails out. Doesn't want to be a part of this front mix anymore. Watch that 86 though as they enter the corner. Oh, big checkup crash in turn 3. And the 25 car goes around and caution is out. 5, maybe 6 cars, maybe 7 as the 16 goes around.
And a couple of bumps and bruises, and finally it all comes down to a stop.
We'll say
wasn't too terrible, but a couple guys getting some bumps and scrapes, some worse than others.
Crash at lap 27. That'll nicely answer our pit stop question. We'll probably see everybody come to pit lane. I think I saw the 77 kind of in the middle of it. We just missed the start. Let's go back and have a look. They go off into turn 3. Now, let's see if we can catch genesis of this. Does it start
outside lane near the front? Not sure it was with the Rhine.
Oh,
that was
odd. Yeah, that was some kind of net discontinuity situation going on there. A couple of the 5 wide esports cars caught up in that as well. The 25, I think, got the worst of the center of all that. Cody Cutrer, let's have another look again at the specifics of their involvement here. They just had nowhere to go behind the 77, kept kind of tank slapping him. They get hit from behind. 0-1 gets tagged into the wall. He went, collects the 51 truck.
Oof.
And on the bottom
45 of the 18. 45 came flying into the 18, turning him around.
Okay, sorry, my Amazon Echo just started talking and it scared the daylight out of me. Oh my God. I thought someone was in my house for a second, so I apologize for that. But holy cow, my heart just dropped. Here's on board with the 51, Logan Hartman.
Yeah, he took quite a few solid hits.
My heart is beating so fast. Ooh, man, technology can be scary. All right, cars on pit lane, trucks on pit lane, and it's going to be pretty much everybody. I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm like panicking about that.
Should I call 911?
Well, I'm just like, I live by myself, so I'm never expecting to hear other voices. I hear voices sometimes, and it's usually the Amazon Echo freaking out about something.
Do you call a psychologist?
Maybe.
You hear voices.
All right, did anybody not pit? Colin Fern, Justin Anisogak. Justin Anisogak rolled through pit lane.
Interesting. I think for Fern, I imagine maybe to lead a lap.
Perhaps. Got some damage, though.
He's definitely going to have to come on down because he was involved in the middle of that. So I guess he figured anyway he's going to have to spend time fixing the thing up. Might as well just come down. I'm not sure he's going to have a whole lot of time because there wasn't anyone a lap down before, so we'll have one less pace lap than usual.
Yeah, so lap number 28 of 90 here. Lap 27 was our first caution of the day as we approach the 1/3 mark. Night has fallen on Daytona International Speedway for Area Truck Series at Daytona, the season kickoff for a long and exciting season. Again, I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna. And 27 laps in, all green flag racing so far until lap 27, and then it all broke loose right up at the front. And it looked like it was just kind of a net code or discontinuity related problem, and it sent one of the Ryan brothers into the fence.
And for you see coming down pit lane will surrender the lead. Not sure, did he actually manage to lead a lap?
Looks like he also is going to retire potentially. Led 4 laps, so he led some earlier, so I don't think he did that for that reason.
Huh. Then I'm kind of surprised that he decided to stay unless he's planning on retiring. Not sure.
Could have been Ryan Hartz, Tommy Ryan up front, then Jordan Martin, Travis Beckner, Cameron Hearn, Conrad Sampson Jr., Jeff Wilson.
We're going back green this lap too.
Yeah, coming back to the restart. And still a lot of drivers on pit lane kind of getting their stuff sorted out. So a lot of trucks got a little bit of damage here, but these are old damage model trucks and take a little time to fix things.
Gotta whip up the toolkits, get the sledgehammers out, get the chainsaws going.
It's the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack, NR 2003, where you hear the banging on the fenders.
Oh yeah.
Throwback. All right, we're gonna be restarting.
We're missing.
Yeah, a bunch of drivers. Basically, everyone from 15th on back. There's Scioli and Asogak. Be gathering up some more here. There they are.
Hurry up, boys. Oh, boy.
Well,
We're very disorganized in the back.
see how that, I wonder if they'll add a lap to help sort that out or if they're just going to roll with it.
I don't think there's really much of a reason to. I think that everyone just trying to fix as much damage as humanly possible. Some guys might have timed it little poorly.
See if anybody Kyle Busch's the restart. Remember that shootout in 2012 just came out of nowhere and blitzed
I
through
still
the
use
field?
that. I still use that term when people do that because it's just so fitting.
Green flag back in the air, lap 30. 61 laps to go from Daytona in the Area Truck Series. Handled by Inner Welch. We go back to trucking.
One truck down in the apron already.
35. Conrad Sampson Jr. Oh, no, it's not 35. It's one of the other 5-wide esports
15
trucks.
or 25. You can tell the doors
None of those.
completely destroyed.
Try again.
I don't know.
Ooh, big moves here. Big moves down the backstretch. The 11, the 28, the 3 of Ryan Hartz controls that bottom. There is the 67. Cameron Hurt now in the mix.
Well, these guys line up on the bottom and trying to get going. The 5-wide guys trying to get running on the top. They got 3 of their members, and they're going back down to the bottom lane.
And Tommy Ryan no longer has Jeff Ryan with him. So he's not going to be able to control the front of this as easily as he did. Look at the 67. Now we might see some more aggression here without so much cooperation and a little bit more chaos. Here comes the 67 with help from Tommy Ryan in the 99.
Yeah, might as well take advantage of all the chaos to move yourself up some spots, especially when it's only single file near the front. Hearn going to do exactly that to see if he can try to take the lead.
3 and the 28 giving big pushes to each other here down the backstretch. Gordon Martin is kind of lingering on the inside lane, not really pushing the issue with the 28 here. Don't push the pusher. You don't want to get yourself in trouble like we saw earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing you want to do is push the pusher and then cause another wreck, especially after the one we just had.
Quickly approaching, well, we are past now the 1/3 mark of this race. That's how quick things are progressing here. 48 minutes to go if it all goes green from here to the end, and that is making a big assumption.
And notably, I think I just saw that David Weishart was caught out in the back. He didn't quite make the restart, so he's way back down the order, and I think like 30-something.
And behind the 4 of Matthew Cochran. They're just exiting turn number 2 as the rest of the field enters turn 3. Definitely less organized than they were earlier, especially on the top side. 99 and Tommy is very committed to that upper groove and very committed to staying up front. I like the aggression here, but without any help behind him, it's going to be a fruitless effort, I think.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised I haven't seen anyone deciding, considering there's only 2 trucks up on that top lane, just kind of go up there. Maybe you got some positions, but mostly single file all the way through the order.
On the backstretch, here's what it looks like. We head towards turn number 3. A little wobbling there from Ryan Hartz, the race leader. Cameron Hearn noses ahead with help from the 99 truck into turn 3. It is single file all the way back to 20th. And there's just a little bit of side-by-side. I think it's Brad Slaughter Jr. and the 2 truck, who is a lap down. It's James Shanewolf, who is the lead lap, the first driver 1 lap down. Tell you what, though, Hearn is hanging tough out there with help from Ryan.
Yeah, I think the 2 of them got just about enough to keep themselves up there. They can't really do much aggressive to get themselves up in front. They probably need an extra truck or 2 to make that happen, but they're not losing really any position or place. They're kind of sitting there around the 2nd or 3rd trucking lane.
On board with Conrad Sampson Jr. Facing bottom lane behind Martin in 5th. He's got room to jump up to the high side and a teammate with him, Jeffrey Wilson. They have not elected to go up there just yet.
Yeah, this team, they lost 1 or 2 of their drivers in the last wreck, so there are only 3 of them left running pretty well. As I mentioned, one of his team is directly behind. Another one, I think, is about 5 or 7 trucks back inside lane.
Wiggle. Lots of wiggling and wobbling from the 35.
Ooh, Beckner. It almost looked like Beckner was trying to go up and join the top lane. Thought again.
Boy, big push from Beckner to Hartz. They try to keep momentum on the inside lane. If that 67 gets clear of the 3, he'll drop down and be leading this race. So it's important.
I also noticed a second lane forming in the middle of the pack, so some other drivers are trying to make some forward progress. They see them coming out of turn 4 now.
It is the 48 of Paul Irvin that is spearheading that with help behind from, is that 00 or it's the 88 of Justin Anasogak in the Exalta truck.
They're making some pretty good progress, and now it looks like they're trying to bring some more stragglers or joining them on their Crusade in front.
Yeah, look at this push they're giving. They are making up lots of momentum here on the back straightaway. Look at the speeds, 192, 193. Off into turn 3, that's about a 5 or 6 mile an hour difference.
Yeah, you can see they're making a huge amount of time, and there they are. They're pretty much caught up to the guys leading that pack, so now got a little bit more formidable force near the front. You can see also the 08 and Ray Slate also trying to join up in the fight.
And immediately what this is going to do is help that 99 and 67 with their momentum push. 2 trucks doesn't really get you anywhere when you're by yourself, but 3, 4, 5 trucks, now you got a lane and you can work with that momentum a bit better. With 2, there's just too little room for error. There's some lap traffic, I think, they're coming up on here.
Yeah.
And this could get exciting.
Especially after what we saw last night. Nothing too terribly exciting here. It'll be just a normal pass.
Eric Wineland going a lap down. So far, so good. More traffic.
Pretty much back to double files. Classic.
Logan Hartman gets out of the way, hits pit lane. Quickly approaching halfway here and getting a little bit exciting again. But the runs, they're just not big. Again, we go back to the way the next generation car races in the Cup Series. Huge runs, unmanageable runs that you have to stomp on the brakes for. Here, you got to stay flat foot. You got to keep the momentum rolling whenever you get a chance, because that momentum will die. These trucks are not as aerodynamic, and they certainly seem to hit that wall of air. That means that you have to work together, and that it's going to take some talent and some track position tonight to win this race. I don't think you can come from 15th on back and win on the last lap. You got to plan this out a little better.
Yeah, and also you're going to need a lot of teamwork, or at the very least, at least some people willing to work with you. You're a lot more reliant on other cars than you are with the next-gen package. At least I feel that's the case. So if you're going to want to make a move for the lead, you're going to need some people to come with you.
Deeper in the field, here's Colin Fambro in the 18. A little bit of 3 wide as 45 beside 5 goes a lap down. He's now 3 laps down to the leaders.
Yeah, that's going to be really unfortunate. That's the worst feeling, too, as a driver, because, again, it's the start of a season. You're not racing for much. You're just kind of hoping that other guys wreck it and you're just going to pick up their spots. It's a really annoying feeling. You're just kind of sitting there and 20-something, 30-something, and just kind of have to sit and run this race out, knowing that you have absolutely no shot at winning.
We're to lap number 40 now here in the Area Truck Series at Daytona. Ryan Hart's the leader, but battling with Cameron Hearn. Ooh, that was tight. On the high side with some lap traffic, but the double wide portion of the field gets by pretty easily, and they'll continue their challenge down the backstretch.
Picking a lot of lap cars, these guys either with damage or guys that took too long to get back with the pack and they're just kind of find themselves out of no man's land. And the pack's just starting to pick those lap cars up.
I guess I'm just surprised at how many cars were affected massively by that accident. Remember, we had everybody on the lead lap, everybody in that main pack. Now we're going from 32nd down to 40th. 41st, actually, is damaged or out of the mix. 67 goes for a wild ride there up the racetrack. So that was a pretty big number of cars that had some kind of effect that put them down the order. And we saw them all get involved. We just didn't think it was going to be that significant damage. A couple scrapes and rubs and things, but that didn't seem to be the reality.
No, definitely not. Still having issues with that, so unfortunate that it took so many guys out of it, especially with relatively minor damage. I've definitely seen some worse wrecks at Daytona, but enough to take some of these guys out of contention. I think it also made worse for the fact that they didn't have an extra lap to try to fix their damage, and I think that definitely caught a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, including Colin Fern. He's out of the race, and that's heartbreaking because of how strong he was looking and how aggressive he was early in the mix. 28 Beckner bounces off the apron. What would it mean for him to win 2 nights in a row? That would certainly be something.
Yeah, definitely look like he's got the truck to do it. He's been running solidly in the front here. Hasn't really made anything too crazy happen because I think he feels it's a little too early. We're still on the early side of halfway, so a lot of racing left to go, but he's definitely sitting in a very comfortable position right there in second.
Look at the resolution of this back of his truck. It's the highest resolution truck scheme I've ever seen in iRacing. Look at that. I know it's 2048 by 2048 like every other one is, but just very sharp for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people are able to work the tools better than others. I don't know. Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Some render some graphics. Some people manage to make it look a little bit better than others before it's compressed.
Lap 43 of 90.
The outside lane is starting to lose some momentum as they've been getting disconnected.
And they've lost their help.
Yeah, they're just like ditching to go to the bottom. I don't know who else was there that joined
48. Irvin.
Ah, yes.
One of them. And now Irvin's just big lifting at this stage. Just kind of riding in line, staying put. Only 15 laps on this run of fuel and tires, so I don't think there's any immediate rush to pit lane.
No, I don't think so. I feel like we're probably going to see the guys go a little bit longer than that first run because that caution happened a little bit before we were expecting to see these guys potentially down pit lanes. They're trying to extend their stint a little bit. Make sure they got enough fuel because you should be close enough to make it on one stop. It might be a little bit close.
Turns 1 and 2. Definitely not as organized up there on the high side as they were earlier, but the 85 and 35 teammates side by side. Now look at the momentum starting to build up there again. A couple more trucks joining the club. And a Sogak in the 88. Looks like he's brought Brad Slaughter Jr. We haven't really talked a lot about Brad tonight. Started 32nd, kind of was hanging around the top 20, but here he is now 12th. And going to drop in behind the 12 of Shane Abbey and try to move forward. Maybe carry some momentum up the middle.
Yeah, he was playing it pretty quiet early on. He's got a lap truck on the 8.
Truck. That is James Shanewolf.
He's trying to take off the laps too. Really unfortunate because he was also looking pretty solid at one point. Ooh, and
my camera
hello.
heard. See ya. Looks like the 99 Tommy Ryan's going to push him forward. Look at Rafe
Oh,
Slate.
at house. Yeah. Slate making an aggressive move to get himself up to the front. Saw the opportunity. Hearn's gone. Now he's in.
Game on here.
Yeah, definitely game on. And we were talking about Brad Slaughter too. I think he's just riding out the first part of this race now, deciding now it's time to shine and come to the front. He's marched all the way back from 32nd, now running up 11th.
Field coming out of turn number 4 to the halfway mark of this race. 45 laps complete at Daytona International Speedway for the Area Truck Series across the line. Hartz, Beckner, Martin, Slate, Irvin, your top 5.
I saw her making a move down to get in inside lane. Decided he wanted to not sit in behind and get back to the front of this. And that's when he started to lose momentum again.
Fans, be sure to visit our sponsor, Swift Lifestyles, for clean supplements that help improve your focus and gaming. Use discount code AREA iRacing for 15% off your entire order. We'd like to thank Swift Lifestyles for their support of the Area League. Into turn 3, still battling Slate on the high side with help from the 99, who has been pushing and being pushed up there all night long. But the progress has frustratingly not been as easy as it was with the 37 of Jeff Ryan.
No, definitely not. And I'm sure that Beckner and Hartz for a second were using a lot of focus because I saw Hartz dip below the apron on the back straightaway entering turn 3. And it was kind of one of those things where it looked like they were getting disconnected and almost about a wreck. But looks like they got gathered back up again.
Momentum on the backstretch, the outside just not getting anywhere. Look at the 85, the 35 on the outside. Conrad Sampson Jr. pushing forward, but kind of stalling out behind the 99, not enough to give him a shove. What it really takes is it takes someone to drop out of that bottom line and move up and then it causes the car that's in front of them to fall backwards, and that's really what creates the stack-ups that lead to the chaos that we saw a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of time before you wonder who's going to be willing to jump up there and who's going to dive back down. And it really is up to the drivers, obviously, whenever they want to be in that particular lane, the way they see it, if it's going to benefit them. That's why we saw her and he ditched out, and you can see him running there. Sixth car on the inside lane.
Oh, I hear a truck way out of gear up the road. The couple of trucks, 55 and the 45, they are off pace by about 20 miles an hour, quickly about to be swallowed up here by this field.
Yeah, only got 2 trucks left in that outside lane. There's the lap cars, and then coming to the tri-vault there, you see the leading pack.
Yeah, this is going to be a little easier than last night to navigate, just because there's so few trucks 2 and 3 wide. But look at it, Sogak in the 88 again, jumping to the top side, trying to repeat the magic that the 86 had, just go up there and pass trucks, but not as effective with this truck.
Yeah, he's really not been committed to either lane. He's just been kind of going wherever the momentum has been. He's been trying to go up to the top side and see him down the bottom, then jumping back up to the top side. So he's been trying to snake his way up, see how each lane is moving, and then slowly move himself up. It looks like now he's decided now's the time to try to grab a few spots here. He sees something happening.
Well, again, it seems like when you get to the corners, the scrub on the tires. Wow, the left truck's almost taking each other out in front of the pack here. Would have been a similar situation to last night as the 99 just squeezes through.
As a driver, that's when you clench up a little bit.
I'd say. Have another look at that as they came out of turn number 4. Here is a look at the wild moment.
Whoa.
Again.
And that's when everyone else in the lead pack is just saying, please don't wreck, please don't wreck, please don't wreck.
Right here. This
that.
A lot of motion to feel confident in front of a pack of trucks, and they're still side by side trying to sort it out amongst themselves.
Yeah, they're going to lose the pack actually with their shenanigans, so they're going to drop back again.
All right, 40 laps to go here. So we're quickly coming up on basically the window to pit and make it to the end. So if we look at the pit stint right now for Ryan Hart's last pit 23 laps ago, go 10 laps, you're good to the end.
Yeah, that's what everyone's looking at. That's probably why we're seeing it also get single fouled out, because these guys obviously know they need to make one more stop till the end of this race, so not really much of a point to fight, because after that last pit stop, then it's going to be on.
And when you pit, how you pit, where you come back into line, how you accelerate, all those things are going to be important. And because of the low horsepower in these trucks, the second you roll off a pit lane, it matters how quickly you get into the throttle, how well you shift, how well you navigate the apron on the banking in turns 1 and 2. All of those things are going to be challenges that kind of end up computing where you're going to finish tonight if we go green into that pit sequence.
Yeah, there's so much that can go wrong with green flag pitting at a super speedway track like Daytona, because you have to consider coming off the track right, getting slowed down correctly, make sure you get in your box, make sure you get out of your box properly, having all your stuff ticked off, make sure you're not taking extra tires if you don't need it, because every little, and then getting, as you mentioned, getting back up to speed properly too. So many points there if you lose a couple tenths of a second or even a second, and that could cause you losing the pack or dropping way down the order of the lead pack.
Well, everyone's got cooperation right now. It seems like everyone kind of understands what's going on, and I see lots of purple on my timing screen running very fast laps when they're all tucked in nose to tail like this.
Up, and as we say, they're running nose to tail. We'll see a second lane forming in the back. Not sure who's the leader of that pack.
Seven is Scioli.
Oh, yes.
He immediately abandons that.
I just wanted a few positions. Goes back in the lane.
Bauer in the number 1 is now the leader of this group. Is that Charles Canita, the 44? Yes, it is.
Yeah, they're making some really good progress up here. They can just keep pushing, and
no commitment from anybody
leaves them out to drive. Yeah, I mean, I remember me and Casey Licata, if you remember from the Outside Racing League, we were running in Fuel 1 race, and we just both, we were just kind of bored. It was kind of this moment where there's a couple laps before we was like, Betts has a radical. We were like, you know what, we'll make a run to the front. We just got out of the lane, stuck together, and worked together up to the front, and just the two of us in the outside lane worked our way up near the front of the field.
Yeah, situations like this when there's so much strength in the single lane. When you go out there with somebody, it's like finding a dance partner, and then they reject you a couple moves into the dance, so they drop back in line. You're like, what the heck? I thought I was doing good. Well, nope. I want to do better and see if I can pick a better date than you, and that just progressively carries on until you leapfrog your way all the way to the front.
Yeah, when you make moves like that, you're gonna want someone that's committed in a committed relationship. You don't want a one-night fling.
One lap fling.
One lap.
Over before it started.
I thought what we had was special.
It wasn't special. It was only good enough for 16th, Karen. Into turn 3, working lap 54.
Oh, someone's still stuck up there.
That's the 44. Kaneda, I think, has not yet dropped into line. Still trying to kind of use the 86 power, Colin Fern, and move his way forward. And again, that seems to be working just fine tonight. But there's a certain point when you kind of stall out, and then you need help.
Yeah, he's going to stall probably around the second, third truck on the top lane. That's really as much as he's going to be able to do. But he's
holy cow, he's getting there.
Yeah, he's getting there. But what he's relying a lot on that side draft, and I think he's going to just find a place in line in front of the 48.
Now, the real confidence if he tries to carry it and continue on the backstretch, but I think he's not going to get greedy. That was a great climb from Kaneda. I didn't think that was going to work, but here comes the 67 of her trying the same thing with help from Rafe Slate.
Yeah, and the 48 actually, that's Kaneda's teammate, Paul Irvin, Darnell Racing, so that's why he let that 44 in lane. He's like, hey, finally you made it up here. You know, Hearn making a move forward in the 67. He's going to go up. He's got Rafe Slate in behind him. And he's come back to reclaim the crown.
It looked like Cameron was going to get blocked by the 28, but Beckner didn't go for it. Now Hearn, again, he gets to this lead, the back of the lead truck, and then just stalls every time. They just can't quite get clear. Last night in the Cup Series race, you'd see someone get launched forward with enough momentum that they could just turn to the bottom, and that process would repeat and continue. Tonight, you get up to the front, and then it's like it's just scratching and clawing for any purchase you can get on the pavement in front of you.
Yeah, I'm looking here. I'm trying to see where our Cameron Hearn's teammates. Because I think he means Brad Slaughter Jr. is going in the middle of the field, and there's Colin Fambro and Bobby Tinch, two which I don't think I've seen the entire race. I don't even know if they're in the circle.
They are. Bobby Tinch is down there, 27.
Not much. Okay. I don't think I've seen Fambro though.
Fambro's here, 23rd.
Oh. Wow. Okay, then I just really not made a lot of noise.
There,
no, I'm just surprised. Oh, you know what else he's in on the sheet we have? He's the 54 truck and the serving the 88. But so, I actually didn't even notice because he hasn't really made a whole lot of noise. I heard him doing something interesting.
Voluntarily jumping out. You're going to drop in line, maybe help Rafe Slate get up there and lead some laps. Is that the intention here? Maybe.
I guess. I don't know. No, he's going to ditch him. He was trying to find a place in line.
Even the ones you trust will betray you. So, at lap 57, we're about 30 laps into this run on fuel. I'd say another lap or two, and you're definitely in your window to make it. You've got to think about perhaps one green-white checker, but here they come. Maybe not a surprise.
Yep, Hearn leading him down, only 4 low, and a little slidey on to pit lane. I'm going to hope that he slowed it down in time. There's the 8 of Brad Slaughter Jr., his teammate.
Nice gentle run into the box for Hearn. Very conservative pit entry there, I think. So we're going to start seeing everybody peel off lap by lap, maybe 5, 6, 8 trucks at a time. This is when it all starts to matter.
Yeah, this is going to be the money stuff, dude. This is the first time these guys are making a very flag pit stop this spring, so you got to really hope that they practice it because you don't want to mess up now because there's a good chance you might not be able to make up for it.
Yeah, you're not pitting again unless you have a crash, so.
And takers, no takers this time.
Pass on by. Again, I'm not sure I love the idea of pitting early because if there's an incident, it's going to trap you a lap down. Or maybe not a lap down necessarily, but it's going to trap you. Well, maybe that would work out for you. I don't know.
I think what they're trying to do, I think maybe that they can get themselves organized, at least Slaughter and Hearn, if they can get together and work their way forward. Then they got the 7 of Scioli as well. And 46 and 8. So they got four in a group. So, you know, theoretically, that should be good enough for them to start working together. In fact, actually, all of those trucks in that group you saw there, they're all in the same Discord channel.
That's going to work out well for them if they can make up ground, make speed. Out of turn 4, any takers this time through. Not from the front of the pack, at least.
Yeah, so
not from the back of the pack either.
Yeah, it's just kind of showing you how purposely made that move was for those 4 coming down pit lane by themselves, just to and then get themselves organized and then get going quickly so that they can make time up on the rest of the pack when they come down, and really, again, not planning on doing this in such an orderly manner. So we'll see what they can do here.
Well, I can tell you right now, they're running 8 miles an hour faster than the leaders.
Already?
Just 188 on the backstretch, 178 for Ryan Hartz right now, leading the main pack. So that's the difference in speed. That's going to translate to a lot of track position towards the end of this race. And that's just organization versus not organization, essentially.
Right, so I'm just curious now if anyone else is looking here, because there's a bunch of teams in here, and now here they come on down, a huge group coming down a pit lane.
Yeah, well, pretty big, nervously big, though, because this is where you can have some contact here. But everyone navigates this pretty well.
Yeah.
About 15 trucks. Oh, crash!
Oh, wow.
Irvin smacked the fence.
Yeah, he really smacked the fence. I think smacking the fence
is
an understatement. He hit that wall really hard.
He hit that wall a ton. Here's a look.
He just slipped.
Locked the brakes up and just smacked that left front end. He missed his stall and got into it, but that's going to hurt him a lot. So he's going to drop to the back of that pack at least.
On the optimistic side of things, I think he might actually lose it.
Yeah.
From how much time he's going to have to
and the
give
damage.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, next 3. Shane Abbey, Cahill Holmes, and Matthew Bell out of turn number 4. They're all going to go. Shane Abbey really commits to the inside there. Woed down. Nicely done. So now here's Scioli leading the way, or this will be what cycles to be the leader after Josh Taylor and Matthew Cochran come to pit lane. And as for the rest of the field, several seconds back. Travis Beckner is about 2.5, 3 seconds back. So this group played that to a T. Look at them go.
Yeah, really solid work here. I'm sure they're going to try to continue this as much as possible. You can actually see that's the second pack now. Once this whole cycle's out, that second pack, how much of a lead they got. Actually, there's a bigger third pack in behind them.
Yeah, so there's your 3 main packs. But the distance that this front group made up, that was all because they came to pit lane and immediately got organized again. That really can only be done if everyone in this group coordinates the same way and all agrees that you just got to get in line together and push. And that can't happen in a big group because not everyone's your teammate, not everyone has the same goal.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's trying to do their own strategy. And also, too, it gets chaotic as well because when you come back out, some guys are closer than others. So 2 guys will hook up and then they'll start making passes on other guys in the group, and that just slows everyone down in general.
Now with under 30 to go, we get this accordion effect now of everyone closing back up together. The challenge is, how do you organize to catch this group before, if they make a mistake like that, that's what'll throw them off.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to catch them, is when they wreck each other, and that's obviously the last thing they want.
Yeah, that second group was a little bit quicker. Just a couple thousandths quicker, but quicker nonetheless, and especially with that.
Let's take a look at who's in that second pack with 5 strong.
Beckner, Hartz, Ryan, Nita, and Conrad Sampson Jr. And they're not too far back to find a 12 for Shane Abbey.
It's funny how this always ends up turning into like the Tour de France, like by square. You get like the main peloton, you get like the 2-3 groups out in front.
There it is.
And actually, how's that third group doing? Because it almost seems like they were catching them for a little bit.
Led by Shane Abbey, Matthew Bell, Jordan Martin, and we're going to get real lap times this time through. Still an outlap last time around for them. So 48.6 by Scioli in the lead pack. Beckner a 47.7, so faster. 47.5 for the third pack. So like I said, that accordion effect as the leaders get together again in turn number 1. Getting desperate up here.
Yeah, I was going to say I think they're looking at the timing. She's seeing that the guys in the behind are catching up, and they're trying to push a little bit harder, but there's only so much you can push, so much you can give. Ooh, and actually the pack, looks like they're getting on the lap now, I think?
Yeah, 56 is AJ Roderick that they're getting around. That will slow them up momentarily. But yeah, again, every time after these green flag stops, you get these groups separated, and it's all about the accordion. Everybody kind of coming back together. The fastest group tends to be the last one. The slowest group tends to be the front one.
Oh, you see Beckner. Wow, Beckner's group catching up really quickly. They're just going to try to soar around the outside here.
Big run. Where do they go? Does Hearn try to throw the block? He does. Not going to be good enough, though. Beckner goes to the top side with the 3
wide.
Hearts.
3 wide for the lead here. You see Brad Slaughter Jr., Cameron Hearn teammates 3 wide on the middle, ditching their allies, their temporary allies on the inside, 3 wide. But Beckner and Hart's going to rally around the outside of both of those groups and just able. No, Hart's not clear. Does Beckner leave him out to dry?
No. Oh, he should have. The 8 truck. Slaughter's going to drive through everybody now. It's getting wild out of turn 4. 3 abreast for the top spot here. 25 laps to go at Daytona.
And Beckner choosing to remain with his buddy Ryan Hartz. Might have cost him the lead there. Decided to stick with his teammate.
Now this is time to position yourself. 25 to go. It's not the time to go. It's time to put yourself in the top 10 and start thinking about when you go. But I think it's about that 10 to go mark where you should be roughly where you want to be.
That laptop better get out on the apron because there's nowhere else to go.
Oh boy.
Oh, and that Italian is charging too.
Nope.
Someone's got to give.
Nope.
It's going to get ugly.
Scioli is bailing out. He saw that coming and didn't want to be a part of it. That was very, very smart racing by Scioli. And he's going to lose a lot of ground because of it. The 99 is going to give him a shove, though. But he lost himself 8 spots because of that.
Yeah, Skyler and Grant, they're going to be slamming their dashboard, slamming their steering wheel because they just lost all that back position because someone had to give, and unfortunately they were the chicken in that situation.
But they did give, and they did create a crash over it. They could have had a crash, and the blame would have been laid on the lap car, but again, it all comes back to, the crashing doesn't win you the race. Oh, this is going to get wild here on the backstretch. It doesn't win you the race. It might win your point, but you're not going to be in victory lane if you do that.
Interesting how they're sticking on the outside of the middle lane. No one's going to the bottom lane. Race Light and Skyly not trying to take advantage of that. Let's see, will Hearn and Slaughter dive down low? Hearn will stay with Slaughter in the middle.
Yeah, so everybody just learned,
turn 4.
Everyone just learned something there. If you leave the bottom open, someone's going to take it and fill it. The 28 and 67 almost bounced off each other there. But don't leave the bottom open. Another lap truck here. This is going to get real bad as they head to turn 1. Is the 28 going to lift? He does. He has to bail out. And what are the lap trucks doing, guys? They got to get out of the way here. This is just going to make a bigger and bigger mess. I know they're trying to get into the pack here, Finian, but this is just not. Just get on the apron. It's just going to create chaos and a crash.
Yeah, it really is. And Beckner, that was last second. I think he was hoping that the truck would move out of the way. And he's lucky that Hartz didn't destroy him from behind.
I mean, they're just chicanes out there and making everybody have to drive around them. It's like, guys, what are we doing here?
Yeah, especially because some guys look like they're even struggling to really make a minimum speed. I don't think there is a minimum speed rule for this league. I'm sure a lot of the lead drivers are wishing there is one.
If there was, they'd be below it. Here's the 7 to the bottom. Rafe Slate going to drop in behind him and give him a push back up to Brad Slaughter Jr.
I'm really surprised these two are just kind of deciding to maintain the middle of the top lane. I guess they don't want to be stuck on the bottom, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't quite
understand. Leaving the moment to attack.
And they're again, the bottom tends to be the place where you keep that run longer. The outside, you might be able to lead at the start-finish line and to get these good runs down the backstretch, but you can't hold it in the corners. Bottom tends to just work its way around. Short way.
After 2 near misses of a complete catastrophe up near the front of the field, field shuffled around just a little bit, but everyone's still going strong, although probably with their hearts racing it. Well, definitely over 100 beats per minute.
And I have to give them big credit because, as we said, they could just drive into the back of the lap car, and everyone would be mad at the lap car, maybe for good reason. But that you can't take that back. If you do that just to prove a point, it doesn't matter. You've already lost the race. So dumping on the brakes, it hurts for the short term, but at least it keeps you running. So that was great calls there by the 28. He backed out a little bit late, I think, and it kind of spooked the 3.
Oh, yeah, it was.
But I think Scioli did a really good job. And look, he's out here leading the race again. So that was a short-term gain, or a short-term loss, long-term gain, rather, for Scioli.
Yeah, what's curious is there any other lap cars up the road in the near future?
Yep.
Oh, boy. That's a double. They are double fouled now, so I don't think it'd be as big of an issue. But come the last 10 laps, I think they're definitely going to want to get out of the way.
Well, we're coming to 20 laps to go. We're about 10 laps from where I want to be, kind of where I want to be. If that makes any sense. I'm starting to plan how I want to get to the place that I want to be when I want to do the thing that I want to do to get where I want to be when I need to be it.
That you made that way more confusing than you needed to be. But I understand what you're saying is now you're trying to position yourself for that final sprint. I think around 10 laps to go, that's really when you're going to want to be pushing.
Yeah.
But you don't want to spend those last 10 laps getting yourself.
I don't want to be 20th in 10 laps. I want to be 20th now, moving my way forward or up in front, defending. You don't want to find yourself in position with 10 to go where you somehow you're going to magically pass 20 trucks. That's just not going to happen. It's just there's too many trucks still running, too many good competitive trucks, too many teammates still running to let that happen.
Yeah, and especially when you're stuck side by side like this. And then once you get it, you could try to think you can make that move all the way to the front of the outside lane, but someone is going to willing to be, once they see you moving up, they're going to jump it out from that middle lane, they're going to block you, and they're going to try to get in front.
Reinhardt's runs 8th after starting 11th, reigning champion of the series. Up on the outside lane behind Campson Jr. Shows how much lateral movement there is. You don't really see this necessarily from the external camera shots, but a lot of shuffling side to side that makes it very nerve-wracking to even do 2 wide for extended periods of time, let alone 3.
Guys are working through 3 and 4 now. All nose to tail. Who's going to be the one to kind of start moving their way up to the front, start making some aggressive moves, on some sort of stabilization, but how long is that going to last?
Orderly 2-lane lines. What did we see? We saw this early in the race. But this time, it's going to be different because the end goal of everybody is to pounce. And so now, instead of just biding time, they're biding time and then going to pounce later. The 67 jumps up to the outside and bails out. And that is not what I would expect.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if he was running hot. That's the only reason I could think he would do that.
Or maybe positioning himself to be where he wants to be.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I have to imagine the engine was running hot or something, because it's kind of bizarre because he was in a perfect place. He was right behind his teammate. Now he's back, what, 20-something?
Yeah, he's lifting to get some distance between him and the truck in front, so maybe that could be a part of it. The laps are clicking down quickly here. You run out of opportunities very, very fast. I like this 99 truck, though. Tommy Ryan, he spent a lot of time in the beginning of the race up front with help from a teammate. He's on his own now, but I like the aggression that we saw for him on the outside lane. I think he's going to jump up here right now. There he goes in front of Brad Slaughter Jr. He's going to control this upper lane. I think he's the strongest one up there.
Yeah, really saw the move. Bound for... It was about time someone did make a move for that inside lane and found the opportunity that opened up. So Ryan now up to the front of the 99 truck. Brad Slaughter pushing. How long is Slaughter, though, going to sit in behind? Because you got to imagine he's cooking up something.
Yeah, but I think if he's been paying attention to who's been leading this race a lot, he'd see that 99 up on the scoreboard here. So stick with this truck until he doesn't stick with you. Ideally, you're trailing him to the checkered flag, and you can try to control how to beat him. I don't know how much I like the idea of following someone to the start-finish line, though, Finney. I think I want to be the leader for this one. Just the runs have not been big enough. I don't think you can slingshot by somebody unless you're completely on your own, only you two, and you have enough room to lay back and generate a run. I just don't think you can just draft up and side draft past them like you could in the Cup car.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right about that. I'm also just kind of scanning through this leading pack. I'm trying to see, who's lined up together with one another, or like at least someone around their teammates. Not a whole lot of people with their teammates at the moment, except for looking at Jacob Bell Racing. That's Travis Beckner, Jordan Martin, Ryan Hartz, and Jacob Bell, but Jacob Bell's out a few laps down. But the other 3 trucks are all in line 1, 2, 3 on the top lane. And speaking of teammates, here comes 5 Wide Esports. They found each other, at least 2 of them. 35 Sampson, he's getting a push from his teammate, and they're moving quickly. Yeah,
quickly, and the middle lane's going to die there. The 99 and 8 sucker hold there. But can they claw back? Scioli and Slate are clear. Will one of them jump up to the outside to control the upper lane? No, they're going to stick to the bottom. And 5 Wide Esports pulls even with Tommy Ryan in the 99. 14 to go.
I see a third 5 Wide truck at the back, tail end of this pack, so if they can get that guy, that driver up there, he can try to give some more assistance, but I think 2 trucks in the outside lane is not quite enough at the moment, at least to get clear.
And Hartz isn't going to ditch the 8 truck, not yet. Will the 99 go up there and jump up with the 5 wide esports guys and go way up top? I think he's like that middle groove a lot. Rafe Slate tried to poke out to the right, couldn't get anywhere. Here's where the intensity starts to rise, and here's where maybe if Cameron Hearn failed because of temperature, maybe he's going to end up looking really smart if these guys wad it up here with over 10 laps to go.
Yeah, I feel like it might happen here. And these guys start to get a little bit more aggressive on the pushing and the shoving. Chances for a wreck increase exponentially.
And just being 3 wide, it's just so much harder to maintain that upper groove when you're not in the upper, you're in the middle now, and you've got to look out for drivers on the bottom and on the top side, shuffling and shifting. In the middle of all that right now is Ryan Hartz, and here's what that looks like on board.
Stuck in the middle of all this, very nerve-wracking stuff, as you mentioned. Try to keep an eye on both lanes, see which one's going, if an opportunity opens up, or if the fleet in front of you starting to slow down. All things to keep in mind.
Now those middle and upper grooves have caught Scioli. Tommy Ryan, again, using that side draft to pull even with Rafe Slate and now get to the quarter panel of the 7, while the momentum from the upper groove dies. 12 to go this time through.
That's taken down, and the energy starting to pick up slowly but surely. So I don't see a little bit of separation as well in the pack. Another guy sitting further back. I'm curious if some guys are deciding to sit a little bit back because they feel like a wreck is brewing.
Yeah, well, again, I think the 67, he's going to find a side effect of having to bail out. He doesn't have a ton of space to slow down, but he's got enough, and there's lap traffic coming. It's about to get wild here, folks. I think the caution clock has elapsed here. And look at the 35 and 85. They bounce off the fence. And that time the lap truck gets out of the way.
Oh, wow. The 35 managed to somehow get in front of the middle lane. How about that? I'm genuinely impressed.
Good call there. Thought his teammate hit the wall and just knew that he had to drop in line or risk falling back with him.
Managed to make it work. He's sticking in that middle lane at the moment. Deciding not to go in front of Scioli.
Oh, I would have done that. I would have dropped to the inside. I think I like controlling that groove, but again, the 99 looks strong, so why not?
Yeah, it looks like he's thinking about doing it, but not committing, and I think Scioli's going to catch him out here. Or not, actually. He's actually maintaining the middle lane pretty well.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, actually. Conrad Sampson Jr., we've talked about him a little bit tonight.
There they go. Move to the top side by Jacob Bell Racing. Those 3 trucks, they finally decide to pounce. I said keep an eye on them, and here they come.
Wow, look at the 3 of Ryan Hart's reigning champion to the top side of the
racetrack.
racetrack.
In the middle lane. Middle lane completely lost to Brad Slaughter, drifting back quickly.
Oh, boy. They're going to get wadded up back here if they don't look out. The 1 truck. Oh, boy. 10 laps to go here at Daytona.
Oh, wow, in the middle lane getting in front of Scioli. That inside lane started to die out, and there you see Hartz dive to the inside, taking control. Now Beckner and Martin stuck on the outside.
No, Tommy Ryan doesn't like being on the bottom. He doesn't like being boxed in. If he could get to the top side, he'd like to make something happen here, but Beckner leads the outside lane. Jordan Martin carries some energy with him, and the 12 of Shane Abbey, who is the leader of that 3rd pack when they came out of pit lane after the pit stops. Now Rafe Slate joins the top side party right now.
Yeah, a lot of moving around. A lot of guys deciding to move around, get themselves in better positions here in this closing lap. Beckner now decided to peel down from his teammate in the 3.
Again, revolving door up here at the front of the field. Jordan Martin now with help from the 12. Coming to 9 laps to go. And here comes Ryan up to the top again, as you mentioned.
Yeah, stuck 4th in line. We'll see if he can how he can try to shuffle his way back to the front 2 spots. Martin now leading, and he's going to dive down. So now all the Jacob Bell guys diving down to control the inside lane.
Scioli and Sampson were leading their lines a moment ago. Now running 7th and 8th. Scioli with a big run to the bottom. But he's just going to end up boxing himself in here. So where does he go? He's going to stick with it, it looks like.
It doesn't look like he's got a whole lot of options at hand here, so
watch the movement on the 11. Got a shove from the 28 of Beckner, and that truck was wobbling down the backstretch. All right.
And there's, see Cameron Hearn starting to peek his nose back.
Oh,
no, the Martin in the 11.
Drops onto the apron, gathers it up. Great work there by Martin. But 8 laps to go. This is when you want to be where you want to be. I think at this point, if you're not in the top 10, and you're planning on it, you should already be there. Rafe Slate jumps up here, but this is when it starts to get hard to hang on to your spots and people start to get frantic and make mistakes.
That is not what the Jacob Bell guys needed at all. They're losing a ton of time on that inside lane. Looks like Martin's actually going to come back and join his teammates back in behind, but they got some ground to make up. Here comes a 12. Abby, though, it looked like a 35 is going to get down and block, but here comes a 12 charging up the bottom.
Don't leave that inside open. He didn't. Slate drops to the inside lane, shoves the run from Abby backwards, and here comes Tommy Ryan again on the outside lane. Brad Slaughter goes 3 wide.
Yeah, by himself is going to go up to the top here. He's going to try to see if he can pick up his teammate, jumps back down below. I think he's going to try to make some slow progress off of that top lane.
Hitting very wild here. Coming back to 6 laps to go. And again, this is where I mentioned the desperation starts to set in. You start feeling like you spent all this time planning. You want to know, you want to be in the spot where you want to be, but you start to get desperate when you realize you're not there. And look at the 8 truck again making that run. He needs some track position, and he knows it. You can't win from where he's at. You're going to end up getting in the wreck. That's inevitably going to happen.
Yeah, he's got he's got 3 trucks in between himself and his teammate up in the 3rd spot on that outside lane to that 67 of Hearn. Up here comes one of the 5 wide guys jumping up top. Ooh, Hearn looks like he thought about going up there. He's going to stick back down in the middle lane.
Again, 6 laps to go. I like where Hearn is. I like where Beckner is. I like everybody forward of that. I don't like being stuck 3 wide or behind about 6th or 7th place at this stage in the race. Unless it gets extremely wild up front, I think you're looking at the groups that will carry some momentum. Unless the 8 truck can give this 57 a push. Ooh, the 08 real slow. Look at Abby with a big run.
Yeah, Abby did a great move to the top lane, got a great push from Ryan to try to get to the front. Now Beckner giving a shove to Slate.
8 truck has got some clear racetrack ahead to build a run. Look at them. Well, I thought he had the 88 going to give him a shove, but Anasogak bailed out. Eric Wineland is back in the mix. I think is he still a lap down? Yes, so he's not in the mix for the win. Lap car on the apron, that scared me as they hit 5 laps to go.
I think it looks like we got some clear track up ahead, so I don't think we should get any more surprises. Fingers crossed.
Beckner chasing the 08. Beckner was the winner in the 500 last night. Defended a run back to the checkers. Right now he's on the offensive. So is Shane Abbey on the top side with help from Tommy Ryan, who has run up front more than anybody else tonight. And led a whole bunch of laps early in the race, but I don't think has dropped further beyond 5th.
Starting to build up the anticipation here. I'm actually surprised you haven't seen the 3rd lane come back again. Curious if they're going to wait for the last 2 or 3 laps to try to do something there, but still just seeing the 12 versus the 08 top and inside lane.
Beckner giving a big shove to Rafe Slate, who dropped onto the apron, almost came up the racetrack into the 12. 4 laps to go. Is anybody going to lay back and try to build a run? Look at the 67, leaving a little gap. Is he going to try to take a run here to the outside of the 35? Wow, big wobble from Rafe Slate. Everybody scatters.
Well, they're scattering, but they're going to have to form back up here. I think we're almost 3-4 wide there for a second. Everyone's gathering back up. The 35 making a run on that top lane by himself. The 12 Abbey up to the lead. Ryan now open on that top lane, or the middle lane, I should say.
I'll see it, Conrad Sampson Jr., unless he's got friends. He's going backwards. Rafe Slate still out of control off the nose of Beckner. The 12 drops to the inside. The 99 of Tommy Ryan leads the way. 3 laps to go. Look at Hearn up to 3rd place.
Did an excellent job just being patient, and Scioli also in behind him. Appears that they're maybe thinking of a plan, trying to get to the front. Scioli's got his teammate 46 of Grant in behind him.
Whoa.
And there goes Hearn.
To the outside, and with help from Scioli, it's going to sucker hole the 99. Bye-bye, Tommy Ryan. Look at the run the outside's got. Here comes the 46 of Garrett Grant with him in the red truck on the outside lane. Into turn 3, coming to 2 laps to go now with the outside run. Look at the 3 truck up to the middle end. There they go.
Oh.
Holy cow.
And a huge rack off of turn 4 for the 99 and the 1, it seems. Oh, and then another final hit from the 24. And Tommy Ryan, unfortunately, his day is going to be done.
That was a brutal way to go out. Get shuffled out on the backstretch. Comes down the racetrack here into Jordan Martin. All on from there. Comes back up the racetrack and then just gets absolutely pistol whipped around. Then gets drilled here in the driver's side door here right at the end of all this. Yep, right here.
Yep.
Pow goes the 24. James Coey. Right on board. Let's go back a little further with Tommy Ryan.
Whoa, you see Rory a little loosey-goosey off turn 2, just trying to see which lane he can try to go and defend it. It's not hard. I saw him there. I thought he was going to try to go in behind him, but decided against it and stick with his teammates. He's getting sucker hole, nowhere to go.
Yeah, the 3 coming up, I think, kind of spooked him.
No, you know what I think it was? I think you saw the 3. I think he was trying to blend in behind the 3.
Right.
And unfortunately, just made contact with Martin as Martin came up a little bit.
Yep. I mean, the 3 right here, he moves up. 99 is just trying to tuck in behind him here. I think the 99 moves down. I think the 11 held station there, but just
you're right.
Slightest bit. Man, the 21 went underneath him. Let's right on board with Eric Wineland from inside the cockpit.
Yeah, Wineland looks like it seems like he's not been having a whole lot of luck tonight. Quite a bit of luck right there. You know, underneath another race car, you don't see that too often.
Whoop, see ya.
Whoa. I didn't even see him just panicking to that.
Launched like a frisbee. All right, well.
Oh, it actually looks like Wineland's going to get the free pass.
Well, you know, good things come to those who wait. Around the outside of the safety truck he will go. And this will be our one attempt at a green-white checkered. So what this means is that when we go back racing, if we get back to the white flag, the race is considered official, and whoever gets back to the checkered flag first will win. If we get a caution before the white flag, the race will be over and frozen. Now, I feel pretty confident that we're going to get a run to all the way to the checkers just based on how long it takes for these guys to build runs in these low-horsepower trucks. So we'll see how it goes, but again, the desperation might get the better of them.
Yeah, we'll see, too, because also it seems like a lot of the teammates that got kind of put out of order now. They're not going to be in behind one another, so it's going to be interesting in that respect because they're not going to be with their wingman. They're just going to be probably alongside their wingman, which is not what you want. So at this point in the game, it's pretty much going to be everyone racing for themselves.
Every man for himself. Area Trucks at Daytona, the season opener here for the Area iRacing League. Take this moment. Let you know about the Area iRacing Twitch. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all Area broadcasts commercial free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. All right, couple cars on pit lane down there, getting some work done. At this stage, you got what you got.
Yeah.
Lights are off on the pace truck. Couple drivers playing Cars the Movie here, trying to beat the pace truck onto the racetrack. Looks like they will do that. Rack them up, stack them up, but go again. 2 laps. This is going to be our one attempt at a green-white checkered. We are in overtime here.
Note that the 7 and the 8, remember they came in pretty early under green flag pit stops. I think they're just a little bit close on gas.
I'd say so. 33 laps ago. Kind of pushing the runs here.
Yeah, they may have enough. I think this is probably just making sure that you got that extra bit, because last thing you need is to be running out in the middle of everyone when you're going for the lead.
We got the trucks running. They're not. Oh, there they go. Now they're pushing in the clutch and shutting the engine off entirely. I was going to say, the clutch doesn't really do you a whole lot because the engine's still feeding itself fuel to keep it idling. Shut the truck off and push the clutch in, then you're going to be doing the best in terms of reducing drivetrain drag, as well as not having to keep the engine fed with fuel.
Still actually on the apron in 3 and 4. It's leaving me a little concerned of their fuel levels. Hopefully they got enough.
Got to make it 5 miles. And a little more if they want to do a burnout. Pace truck.
Saving up for the burnout.
Yep. Pace truck going to make the hard left-hand turn onto pit lane. Coming to 2 laps to go for the Area Truck Series here at Daytona. Time to go racing. This is it. It's checkers or wreckers. Caution flag will bring us down to the end. Checkered flag will signal the end of the race. And a big shoves all through the field as everybody gets back underway here. 2 laps to go from Daytona.
Outside, they did not get going that particularly well. The 12 Abby trying to hike out a lead and make up some moves. Ooh, someone on below the double yellow line trying to make up some ground in the back.
I don't think it's going to be the front that creates the crash. I think it's going to be this mid-pack run with everybody 3 wide here trying to get purchase. 33 a Weishart. He's going to shove the 11 as they hit the back straightaway here for the penultimate time. Here they go.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of these guys are going to be aiming to make it back around at least one more time once it's the white flag. All bets are off.
Behind
We're going to
him.
be racing back to the line. It's some door-to-door action between the 44 and the 9.
We'll watch the 28 and the 08 as they bang fenders together. That's volatile as well. They need to go about a half a mile to make it back to the stripe and pick up the white flag here at Daytona. 1 lap to go if they can get there. Look out, some movement in the mid-pack here. White flag, 1 more lap to go from Daytona.
We're racing back to the line no matter what. Who's going to win there, make it there first? We'll find out about 30 seconds here as these guys racing off into turns 1 and 2. It's a drag race between Slate and Abby as it's been for majority of this run. Can anyone get in front of them?
Look at this mess behind him, but look at this. Ray Slate goes backwards. Beckner has a run with the 46 truck, and they're going to stack up behind him. Are they going to make it? Look at the 3 truck to the outside. They're crashing behind. The 41 goes around. But here they go. Shane Abbey leads the way into turn 3. Can anybody build a run to get by him? 2 corners left. They're crashing again. The 88 of Anna Sogak goes around. Huge crash. 1 car tumbling. Hearts. Here comes the 3 of Hearts to the outside. Reigning champion trying to win here at Daytona. It's going to be a drag race back to the checkered flag. Ryan Hearts was the champion last season. He's the champion of Daytona as well. He gets it done.
Wow, and Hearts got really lucky there as Scioli ran out of fuel at the line. Wasn't able to give a push to the 12. That was fantastic timing for him.
Wow. Ryan Hearts gets it done tonight. Led 32 laps on the evening, a surprisingly high number.
Yeah, I actually don't recall him being up there. I guess he was up there a little bit more earlier on. And his teammate, the Manuel, pushed him there, Travis Beckner. Beckner not able to win, but gets a very solid second place.
Ryan Hearts, winner at Daytona, kicking off the season in the right way. Beckner second after his win last night. Garrett Grant, Shane Abbey, AJ Roderick in the 56. That truck was a lap down earlier, I think. Comes back to a top 5. Brad Slaughter Jr., Matthew Bell, Danny Ware, James Scioli, and more. We'll take you through the replays here after we celebrate with Ryan Hearts. But victorious here at Daytona. He gets it done. And it's going to be burning it down here at the World Center of Racing. All right, let's go back and have a look here at that final lap. It's always interesting to go back and kind of look at how things kicked off here, Finian. Here's a look. This is coming. Actually, this is the white flag here. The 41 was the first truck. The Heel Holmes was the first truck to go around the backstretch. Off the bumper of the 67, perhaps. There was a shift and shuffle here.
Yeah, everyone just getting kind of ping pong around, and then out of lane, there goes 41 spinning to the infield grass. It looks like it's turned up and over in the infield.
And somebody took quite the ride, and it was Charles Canito.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Quite the ride. It's an understatement. Went up and over several times over and a few hard hits. Wow. Whoa. Hello,
Holy
football.
Cow. Well, let's break this one down a little bit. Let's go back a little further. The 44 and the 08 of Rafe Slate, they make contact. It's the 19 truck again, kind of in the midst of all this, just constant ping-ponging here. Then the 04 hits the 44, sends him up and over the top of the 85, over the windshield. The 16 slams off of him. 44 tumbles, and then the 08 of Rafe Slate goes for another ride.
Oh, and then that sends Rafe Slate up into the air and then up and over onto his roof eventually, after he goes flying around for quite a bit.
Here, watch this. Bam. Just kicked up, kick flip, takes the 16 with them. They hook bumpers, and oh my God, the 18 underneath him. Right on board with the 18 truck. Got quite the view out the windshield there. Colin Fambro finished 14th. Here's what he saw on the windshield. And Sogak going around.
Wow. Race found some sort of lane through there, then another wreck in front of him. Managed to get through, then another wreck in front of him. Oof. He goes underneath one car. Ooh, hits Hearn.
Hits him again.
I just liked how one of the cars was upside down and ended up passing him for a second.
Oh my goodness.
Because he went flying down out of turn 4.
All right, here's a look at your race results after a wild finish here at Daytona. They always are. Hartz, Beckner, Grant, Shane Abbey, A.J. Roderick, your top 5 opinion. But how about Brad Slaughter Jr., 6th place and all that? Matthew Bell in 7th. Danny Ware, Scioli, and Jeffrey Wilson. We haven't talked about Jeffrey a lot tonight as a race leader, but came home inside the top 10.
Yeah, I was helping, mostly doing a lot of the front work, helping out his other teammates at 5YD Sports. Never was really the guy in the front of that pack, but managed to through a top 10. Then Jordan Hurley in the 5, another teammate, Bobby Tin, Jordan Martin. Martin not able to finish up with his other teammates, but solidly in 13th. And looking down the rest of the order, other solid finishes. David Weishart all the way back in 19th in the 33 car.
Ray Slate 21st after flipping and wildly spinning down the racetrack. Tommy Ryan in the 99, you have to feel for him, though. What a great effort tonight. And ran up front all night long, got sucker holed and crashed all within a half a lap.
Yeah, pretty much. And then looking at the rest of the list of finishers, a lot of disappointing finishes here. James Chainwell, Chris Seidenfeld, and Jacob Bell all really had fairly poor days and not able to capitalize.
Let's go back and chat with our 3rd place finisher. Garrett Grant came home in P3. Well, it was a wild action moment behind you. Looked like something out of a action movie, Garrett, with cars flipping and wildly spinning everywhere. But you managed to make it to the checkered. You lost by 1/10 of a second, 67 thousandths behind 2nd place. Take us through what you saw at the windshield all night. Looked very competitive, but hard to make ground.
Yeah, you definitely needed some help to make some moves there, that's for sure. Yeah, I was just I was in the back for the most of the race until we made that last pit stop, and my teammates, we did a good job of getting through the pit stop there, and we got out in front of the pack pretty good, and I thought we were in good shape until we started worrying about the fuel, and then I saved enough, but Brad and James, I think James ran out of 4, and Brad was really close, so on that last restart there, I really didn't, I was kind of scared to go with him because I didn't want him to run out in front of me, so I just kind of had to pick and choose where I went there, and just didn't have the run there at the end to get him, but definitely happy to come out of here with a P3 out of Daytona with a 0X to boot.
Well, it's certainly a good way to start the season as we look forward to the next week's event and for the rest of the season. There's not really a lot of events, 12 regular season events, so every one really matters, and a good average finish on the year is very important. You kind of eliminated one of those wild card races with a solid run tonight. How do you feel like you can do at Rockingham and then at Sonoma week 3?
Man, I'm not a big road course guy, so I'd probably chalk that one up as a wild card in my book, but hopefully I can get a top 10 there. Or where'd you say we're going, Rockingham?
Yeah, Rockingham next week and then Sonoma week 3.
Yeah, we did a practice race at Rockingham, and I was pretty good there. I think saving tire there is not coming to effects, and that's my specialty, so hopefully I can get out of there with a decent finish there and just a decent finish my way to the playoffs, I guess.
All right. Hey, Garrett, great run tonight. P3 for the 46 team. We'll see you next week at Rockingham.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Moving on now to a 2nd place finisher. Winner from last night, 2nd place tonight, Travis. P2 by 65 thousandths of a second. Well, you got the one off your back last night. Came up a little bit short tonight. Could you have positioned yourself any different to win this race this evening?
No, I couldn't have. I was going to push Hartz to the win no matter what because he's my teammate, and it would have been a real good points night for a 1-2 finish for JBR. And, man, that was awesome. I'm more pumped than what I was last night.
Well, certainly a team effort tonight, Travis. That has to make it feel even sweeter.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what happened in the back, but it would have been even better if we could have got Jordan up here in the top 3 as well to get an interview, but looked like a wreck happened behind and he was in it, so.
Yeah, certainly a big mess behind you, Travis. Hey, congratulations, though. First last night, 2nd tonight. You racing in the Lodge Box Series. Can we expect a top 3 there, too?
I hope so. I'm going to be back with Miller Racing tomorrow night. Last second. We came in last second for Xfinity. I was going to race Xfinity no matter what. But, yep, it's going to be me, Jacob Hudson, and Dawson Miller working together tomorrow night. Should be fun. And can I thank a few more people because I forgot to thank some people.
Sure thing. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, first things first, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Rick's Hot Sauce, Collier Cutters, Lodge Box, and Wax Electric, and Ryan Hartz, everybody at JBR, and Miller Racing. And I forgot to thank my grandparents yesterday because they're down in Naples, Florida. They didn't get affected as much during the hurricane, but I'd like to thank them. And my dad, my mom, and everybody that could get this done. And that was such an awesome race tonight, and y'all taking the time out of the day getting to do this.
Hey, Travis, it's a pleasure, and it's always a blast to watch you guys go and race with such a big field in such an awesome way. Travis, congratulations, second place. We'll see you on Thursday for the Xfinity Series race.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Moving on now to race winner Ryan Hart, starting off where he left off in the number 3, up at the top of the board. Ryan, congratulations, winning here at Daytona. 65,000's last lap pass. It has all the makings of a great season, kicking things off the right way.
Yeah, pretty much what you just said. We're back in victory lane already. After the championship last year, that was definitely my biggest achievement in this league. But I was thinking to myself, I really want to win at Daytona, and I really wanted to win last night. We were super close at it, and unfortunately, we got in a little bit of a mishap. But tonight it was great teamwork with me and Travis and Jordan. Travis was a great pusher all night. I was able to stay up front throughout the whole first half, and I told myself, I got wrecked at like lap 3 last season at this place, so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go up front and race for the win all night. I want to be able to control the lines. I want to be able to just lead that inside line with everybody behind me, and that worked out pretty well tonight. After that green flag pit stop, I thought we screwed ourselves because there was like an 8-car pack in front of us, and we just could not get around them for the longest time. But that caution at the end definitely helps. And I jumped up to the high line on the final lap, and Travis was pushing me, and I didn't want anyone else pushing me. So yeah, I honestly can't believe that I was able to win this.
Well, crashed on lap 3 last year. This year takes the number 3 to victory lane. Ryan, congratulations. A strong run. Fun to watch. We'll see you next week at Rockingham.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to thank everybody. Thanks to everybody at Jacob Bell Racing for all the support. I definitely plan on running for back-to-back championships this year. And like I said, tonight was great teamwork. And I wouldn't want to work with anybody else. So thanks to them. Thanks to Cosmin over at Splash Video Graphics for making this amazing paint scheme. Yeah, thank you guys for the broadcast. You guys do a great job. And thanks to Rick Sox for coming up with it.
All right. Hey, thanks so much. Have a great night. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Finney, just watching the replay here on board with Ryan Hartz on the Elwood Designs white flag lap here, the final lap of the race. Sneaks to the outside of Scioli on the backstretch, and then with a huge push from teammate Travis Beckner, who, look at him throwing the blocks into turn 3. And then right here, this critical bump, bam, as the field crashes behind him, that gave him the momentum he needed to take that battle all the way to the front. And then right here again, push. That gave him what he needed. Just great teamwork there, Finian, and Ryan Hartz gets it done.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic job by both those guys. Just work together, stick close together. And he's mentioned the great blocking and pushing for that 28 cannot go without mention because he pretty much helped the 3 win that race. I'm sure they're going to be giving each other congratulations for the rest of the night. Very solid team effort. We'll see if he can carry that on into next week.
Yeah, next week will be Rockingham Speedway. One more race this week for the area series. It's going to be the Lodgebox Series. The Xfinity cars run on Thursday night. That will be, guess where? Daytona. Last run of our Daytona Speed Weeks adventures. That will be on Thursday night, same time, 8:40 Eastern. Then next week, we head to Chicagoland for the Cup Series, Rockingham for the Truck Series, and then for the Lodgebox Series, we are also headed to Rockingham as well next week. So we'll see you there. We got Daytona on Thursday, Rockingham, and Chicagoland next week. Thanks for watching SimTV. Kyle Heyer and Finney DeCuna. We'll see you on Thursday.